Hi, I'm Father Eric Sundrup here with Father Patrick Gilger, and this is Jesuit Autocomplete Quarantine Edition.
We do
have
have
stubble. They would normally make me clean up. It's March 25th, and we are coming to you live from different Jesuit communities on different continents. In fact, I am calling in from Cincinnati, Ohio, where I'm the pastor of a parish here, and Paddy is calling in from, actually, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce any of the places that Paddy is in right now. I'll let him do that.
I am actually calling in from our high school, the Jesuit high school in Milan, Italy, the name of which is Leone Tredicismo.
Yeah, so here in Ohio, we've been on a stay-at-home order for about 2 days now, but I know Italy, you've been in shelter-in-place or stay-at-home for much longer than that. We thought it would be good to answer some of those questions that are coming up on the internet and Google setup. So, we will do our very best to provide a little bit of humor here and discuss it, but also understand that this is a very difficult situation for so many people, so many places.
Yes, so we do not have a board in front of us, as some of you who are watching this may have noticed. So we do have some wonderful producers who are going to help us with the questions that people may have been posing to Google.
Survey says, how do I practice my faith during quarantine? How do I practice my faith during quarantine? I mean, my answer is to continue praying. I mean, one of the things, you've read a lot of articles, routine is important when your life is disrupted. And so to set up a routine of prayer, so if that's in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening, give yourself a clear time when you do that. I think that is one of the most important things, to set up a space to pray. So
you have those awesome Star Wars posters right behind you.
Well, yeah, so I pray with the Jedi. That's not my prayer corner. That's just my dorky sense of taste or lack thereof. But I think setting up a space in your house, that movement to a different physical setting can be a really important thing. Those sort of setups for routines. What do you think, Paddy?
Yeah, I think those are really good suggestions, man, and mine resonate with that. There are lots of things. The corporate practice of our worship is being taken away from us at this time. And that's painful, and it's frustrating, and it's sad. Like, there's a lot that's being lost there, and we can feel the pain of that loss. At the same time, it offers new opportunities. Now, those opportunities that we have to take on ourselves can put a lot of pressure on us individually. So we have to come up with ways to support our individual efforts.
Okay, our next question here is, can Catholics receive sacraments during quarantine? One of the reasons that there are no public masses is to discourage people from gathering in large groups. And I think that's hard for many people, but I think it's really important for us to recognize, this is not to say that the sacraments have gone away. They're still Mass is still being celebrated, confession is still possible, but it's also important to be careful, not just for yourself. I mean, maybe you're not worried about your own health, but this is a situation in which our actions affect everyone around us, absolutely everyone around us.
Yeah, I think it's an excellent answer, Eric. And the only thing that I really want to add to it is that I think this is a challenge for us to become a little more creative, a little more imaginative in the way that we might consider building and constructing an individual and a corporate relationship with God. It's not to say that this is good. It's not good that we're not able to receive the sacraments often at the moment, but there are other beautiful things that can come out of it. God has not abandoned us, even though we have had to say, pause for a moment with the normal practice of the faith. In some ways, I know it's maybe a little bit too pithy, but there is some truth to the saying that absence makes the heart grow fonder. And I think maybe the way to say it is that the absence it's revelatory of the things that we desire most deeply. And so I hope that each of you who are watching this find yourselves desiring the sacraments, maybe even sacraments that you have not done in a long time. Reconciliation.
Are you talking to me directly?
I find that, I would never, or not very often, at least. Sometimes I would, but no, we find those desires in ourselves, and sometimes they come up at spaces when we may not be expecting them, in ways that we may not be expecting.
Let's go to our next one. Let's see that appear on the magic computer screen here. What do priests do during quarantine? Well, they make videos on Zoom and YouTube, and with producers in New York and somebody in Italy and me in Cincinnati. As a parish priest, a lot of that is basically the question is, how do I stay connected, and how do I help the staff stay connected with all of the parishioners and the parishioners amongst themselves, right? We can't do this all on our own, and they're doing amazing work as parishioners. And so how do we let them know we're praying for them and provide them with good resources? And so we're spending a lot of time working on that. And, that can happen from a computer in my room for a period of time, and that's what we're doing. I go to daily mass with my community. We watch movies. We have movie nights now. Everyone's home at night, whereas usually guys were everywhere doing stuff. We had to expand our community social to multiple rooms because we couldn't keep social distance properly in the community. So this is a new problem for us.
For me, one of the most important things I've been doing, and it's not just or fair or right, but as a priest, having access to the sacraments here in a Jesuit community, or being able to say mass myself, I've been really trying to bring people to the sacraments as best I can, really trying to bring people to the sacraments and to share with the Lord in that way some of the needs that people have who may not be able to join me. So that's been an effort and tension.
Let's see what our next question is here. Can Catholics, quote, visit the sick during quarantine? And the kind of upsetting answer here in at least the United States, or in the area I'm in, is actually no. The nursing homes have a very strict no visitor policy now. If someone has COVID-19, there's a no visitor policy to contain the spread of that.
The other thing that's new about this experience of quarantine for the church is that we have never dealt with a plague of this size while having the kind of scientific awareness of the way that germs spread or that a plague moves in our entire history. The church is, in fact, much older than epidemiology. So we have been trying to deal with these things for a long time. Now, what I wonder, and I do not have an answer for it, is how St. Francis of Assisi, who, when he saw the leper, ran towards him and kissed him, would have dealt with something like this. I don't know what the answer to that is. I do know.
You mean like St. Francis having studied Gen Bio 1 and 2 in college, right? That's what you're imagining?
Right. But I mean, yeah, but like, we have to feel the strangeness of his choice, that this is a man who decided to move towards the suffering. The question that we have to come face to face with is whether or not we are going to allow the physical distance that is being enforced upon us to also become spiritual distance.
Because there can be a temptation, well, I don't have to do anything because I can't, right? And that's not true. That I think the invitation for the church, for all of us, is to find new creative ways using all of the knowledge we have.
And I think we don't actually have. We don't have to pretend that we have the answer to this yet, because to be honest, we don't. Like, we have a lot of, we have so much history in our church, so many things that we can draw on from our tradition that can give us perspectives on lots of things that come about in the world. This is not one of them where we have clear answers as to what to do.
Let's see the last question. Do I have... I'm sorry, I should say this before I start laughing on the screen. I'm reading it. The question that causes us both to laugh immediately is, do I have to like the people I'm quarantined with? My short response, smart alecky response, is you certainly don't have to like them, but you sure as hell had better love them. I distinguish between like and love. Like, is everything they do, you have to be happy with and not let it annoy you? No, some things people do annoy and grate. And just so you're aware, some of the things you do annoy and grate people too. But one of the things I think it's important is you do have to love them. And I think that's the most important part. You got to find a way to love them. Love people that bother you, that annoy you, that trouble you a little bit. Find a way to understand, see them how God would see them, right? That isn't to say to condone behaviors that are problematic, but it is to see them with great love and care. And I think that's what we're called to.
Even people that like each other as much as Eric and I enjoy each other's company, there are times when that happens.
Paddy, here's the problem. You would have no MLB to watch. There's no baseball. You have no escape.
The lack of sports content for me to consume right now is really challenging for me. Yes, that's true. It's
funny. The first question was, how do I practice my faith during quarantine? It might be the other people you're quarantined with who cause you to need to practice your faith even more. You might need to pray more because of that. These other questions are really important. Yeah. How can I receive sacraments during the quarantine? And you got to be very careful and follow the best advice of health experts in that. And then what do priests do during quarantine, which is a lot of the similar things that everyone else is doing. I'm gonna be thinking about that at social tonight as we're all getting ready for dinner. Do I like the people I am quarantined with? And I'll look around the room and I will not answer that question out loud.
The other thing that I really want to say is that I really think that this is an opportunity for us as a church to be more imaginative and creative. Things are being taken away from us. At times, that can be an opportunity for us to dream bigger about how God is asking us to respond to the needs of the world in this time. We've been really happy to be with you all. Eric, I've been really happy to see you again, even for just a moment, and talk through some of these things. For Eric Sundrup, I'm Father Paddy Gilger. We want to thank you for being with us on this latest episode of Jesuit Autocomplete. We do hope that you and your families are staying safe during this time of quarantine. And we hope that while you're sitting there, you'll consider watching some of our other episodes of Jesuit Autocomplete, which you can find on the America Media YouTube channel. Thank you again for joining us, and God bless you.